Welcome to yet another episode of Founder Ground, where we give you an inside scoop of what happens behind the scenes of making a SaaS product, the challenges faced, the hardships endured, and get to know the overall journey directly from the founder himself. This is your favorite host, Minank, and today we have a very special guest with us. His name is Giorgos. He is the founder and CEO of ImgHaste, the product that will boost your website. So, Giorgos, how are you doing?
Hey Minang, thank you for having me. Hello PitchGrounders, this is Giorgos, founder of ImgHaste, and it's wonderful to be here.
Awesome. So, Giorgos, before we dive into ImgHaste and everything that surrounds with it, tell us, how did you find PitchGround?
I actually found it while doing competitor analysis. We tried to see how the competition, what tools the competition is using for their growth. And while I was browsing, I ended up in your contact form. So I submitted a request, and a couple of hours later, Oscar was replying to my emails. So
Oscar is very fast when it comes to replying to mails and everything.
he is, yeah.
So what got you into online marketing, this whole scenario,
We've always been interested in micro optimizations. Always have been trying to make things in the most efficient way for the machines. So, and actually, this is something we inherited from our experience in web hosting back in 2008. We needed an answer to how many websites we can host to a single dedicated server, and the answer at the beginning was 7. We knew that because we had to get a second web server the minute we had our 8th customer. So we had to deal with either lose money or make ourselves a way to be profitable. And what we actually did is we consulted all our 8 customers in order to make their websites faster, so we can actually host more on a single dedicated server. And that's what we did. So, we only wanted to learn how to host more websites. And this is the story of how we ended up in the online marketing.
Wow. That's interesting. So you had those 8 customers, tell us about your experience with your very first customer. How was it like talking to him, and actually noticing how it's helping him solve a problem?
Well, I don't really remember the very first time. It's been quite a long time, but I do remember the feeling I got when I was able to resolve an issue. It was every time I used to solve something, it felt like an achievement. For example, it felt like somebody was giving me a medal about it. It was an amazing experience.
Wow. I mean, that's how entrepreneurship is. And I guess that's how entrepreneurs feel when they interact with their very first customer and see that actually their product is solving an issue.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. After a little while, you actually lose it a bit. But you always get the chance to have more challenges, and the excitement is almost the same.
Interesting. I'm sure you felt the same way while launching with PitchGround. And tell us about your previous startups, jobs, etc.
All right.
Because you went into a bit of web hosting, so we are really interested. What did you do previously before ImgHaste?
Yeah, actually, ImgHaste is our first attempt to go on a global scale. We did have a few products launched on local market here in Greece, but those services were never meant to go global. And actually, it required a lot amount of money to go global. ImgHaste is pretty much easier for that manner. And in ImgHaste, in this regard, we will also be focusing on specific regions. We will go country by country for targeting local markets as well.
Got it. So since ImgHaste is your first global SaaS, and you had different SaaS, which was just limited to Greece before, I mean, you might have the experience of building a team and working with a team, right? So can you tell us the
Yes.
importance of building the right team, or any challenges you faced while building the right team, whether it's finding the right employee, etc.?
Certainly. Okay, so in my humble opinion, it's finding the right team, especially when you begin. It's exactly the same as finding a husband or a wife. Uh, yes, there has to be mutual understanding,
True.
and of course, all team members must share the same vision, and also have the same mindset, at least for the starting members, right?
True.
And also their personal personas must be a match. For instance, at ImgHaste, we also share the same vision. We believe that we make internet a better place for everyone. You all have to share the same visions.
Got it. Got it. A team member who can actually share and understand your vision better.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, yes. So, can you tell us about raising funds, or is ImgHaste and other companies which you have worked with are completely bootstrapped?
When somebody tries to raise fund, the first thing he needs to do is to provide an undisputed proof of concept
True.
that that his idea actually can work, to be able to provide a spike of data.
Hmm.
And by the way, PitchGround is an excellent choice for that spike.
Thank you so
And
much.
and of course, it must be, he must also present a valid return of investment plan. There has to be a timeline where the investment pays off. But don't get me wrong here, it's not that easy, okay?
True, true. I mean, it looks easy when we talk.
Yes, yes, certainly. But just a slight miscalculation can lead you out of business when you try to fundraise.
Got it. So, if you were to be an investor right now, which are the
Uh-huh.
startups would you invest right now in your money?
Right. Most startups don't even have their vision. They might shift their product overnight, or maybe multiple times before they manage to make it real.
True.
And that's actually okay if you are a startup. So when it comes to investing in startups, I always consider the people behind the startups. It's anybody can have a good idea, but after a certain point of the roadmap, it's all about execution, and people are responsible for execution. So if I were to invest in a startup, I'd certainly go with startup that their people are well established, and they know what they're doing.
True. I think that's what PitchGround also believes in. It's like, it's not the tech or the product or any software. It's the person behind that product who actually matters, and that's what we believe in as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So where did this all begin? Let's go behind web hosting days. Where did this all begin? Your first startup, your first experience, etc.
I don't have a starting point back in the past, but I think it was a progression. It just evolved on its own. I mean, we started to first of all, ImgHaste is quite old as a product. We launched it on as a self-hosted service for private customers, and it was working well. Okay. And then recently we decided to actually pack it up, give it a name, make a website about it, make it a dashboard, and do the global launch.
Wow.
It
So
actually evolved.
it was just the product which was meant to use for your own thing.
Yes, it was meant for our own customers. For example, back in 2013, there was a hype about responsive images. We made a version of ImgHaste. We simply called that time CDN.
Mm-hmm. Just
And
CDN.
yeah, just CDN. It was cdn.customer.com. So it was a microservice back then that was able to handle resize, optimizations, and stuff like that. But with time, it evolved. It actually, we gave extra effort the last couple of months, the last 6 months, to make it a global service. And the results you can all see. I mean,
Absolutely. PitchGrounders are just loving ImgHaste. So, of course, you had the vision to transform this personal product into a global SaaS. And what, according to you, is the number one quality that an entrepreneur should have in today's world?
all right. Well, this is also opinionated.
All right. Yeah, we just want to know your opinion.
Okay, but I believe that the number one trait someone need to have is that he must be able to look behind closed doors. You should always have to be able to see things that other people cannot. Not with a microscope though, not with extremely details, but you have to focus on the bigger picture. Let's take, for example, Netflix and COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as all countries started to lock down, people suddenly had to stay home, right?
True.
So they all started abusing the internet. Okay, they started to the pizza ordering, the television, Netflix, buying toys for their kids and everything. That was pretty much a one-way road. I mean, whoever foresee that Netflix is going to rise 3 months earlier could actually have doubled his money now, or maybe even more. And or maybe exactly the same happened with Cloudflare, by the way. People didn't realize in the beginning that the internet will thrive, okay? And Cloudflare actually responded pretty quickly, and their stock went from 16 USD to 40 in like 3 months time, or 2 months time or something. So assuming I was about to invest today, with every people in the world stay at home,
Mm-hmm.
I would invest in a company that sells diapers, for example, because in 9 months from today, people are going to have babies, you know?
You're telling that it's the vision that of an entrepreneur is what most matters, That's exactly
Yeah,
what you mean
but
to say.
you have to be able to see what's coming next. It's not easy. It's not always easy. And there are countless of factors that you can't always see. But some people can actually, yeah.
True. So education in today's times, like how should one actually learn in this cluttered environment? Do they join the university or follow their passion by online courses, or what do you suggest?
Well, I believe that one must realize that the things will always be far less than the things you don't know in this hard evolving environment. So in this regard, university versus passion, it's the answer is definitely both. I mean, joining a university is very important because you're going to meet your future colleagues, for example.
Yeah.
You will get to know them. You will understand how they think, what they expect from you, what to expect from them, and of course, passion is equally important because computer science is a creative work. Okay, there's nothing good ever happened without passion. I mean, you have to have both. For example, well, if you are 30 years old, I don't go to a university because um, you are 30 years old. But if you are, let's say 18, 20, do both. They're both mandatory.
Awesome. Awesome. So how does your typical day look like with now launching on PitchGround and, how does your typical day look
Yeah.
like?
Well, okay. Well, first of all, last couple of weeks, uh, I'm dead tired, okay? But a typical day at ImgHaste contains user support, ticket answering, mm, team coordination, and of course, plans for the future. We actually had to adapt our roadmap to. We had some plans for the next semester, but we had to bring it closer to today since we launched at PitchGround. And we also keep collecting feedback from our users to make the product better.
So, like, I'm sure your family life must have got affected as well, because of doing all of this stuff which you just told me.
Well, it's not easy, okay?
Certainly isn't.
There are a lot of things that you need to take care of at the very last minute, okay? And you have to prioritize things. You have to give certain priorities to your business and to your family. Even though family may show understanding, you always have to be there as well. And this way of living is like trying to break yourself into many pieces, into 1,000 pieces, so you can be there for everyone. And there's hustle on it.
I'm sure there is this hustle of being an entrepreneur. And I think, what does success mean to you then? If I were to ask you.
Oh, well, success. Okay. I think success is when you manage to balance things out. When you have a healthy balance between your business life, okay, your family life, your hobbies. You have to get some personal time as well. Maybe your kids, anything, whatever you like to do, and you have to be able to provide the most across all channels. Okay. Not just business, but personal life, family life, and everything. If you focus on your business life, I'm pretty sure that anyone will easily get tired. Okay, and I think success is about having all in check, having everything in check, so you can keep doing whatever it is that you do.
So you would consider yourself successful if you had everything, all of this balanced out in a certain day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you were to give an advice, if a SaaS founder is just starting out, what is their number one advice to him? What do you tell him to do, or maybe tell him not to do?
A famous CTO once told me that he gave me a piece of advice that I endorse. It is that done is better than perfect. Okay. So what does that mean? Is that a SaaS founder should probably not waste any time to try to make his software perfect. You have to understand that it's never going to be perfect because there will always be room for improvement. Okay, you will always have to keep up with the competition, for example. It's actually a marathon instead of a sprint, and it doesn't have a finish line there. So as soon as you feel ready, just launch. Okay, just hit it. And I promise you that you will figure everything out as soon as you see adoption on your product. It's I don't know. It's like having a baby. It's like bringing a child to the world. Nobody's ever really ready for it, but a couple of days later, they all figure it out.
All right. All right. So you mean to say it's don't chase perfection.
Yes, no, no, absolutely not.
Awesome.
It's a goal for you. You're going to waste valuable time there, and there are time is precious.
Truly, truly it is. Now comes the rapid fire round. And are you ready for the rapid fire round?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. So what do you consider to be the biggest win so far that matters to you?
I think ImgHaste biggest win is that we actually solved the URL rewrite problem. We actually managed to be the first one to do so. It's about, we have to think out of the box, and we actually did it. So we are very proud of it. And we also are the first ones to introduce such a feature, and we plan to stick with them. It's also the biggest success we had, the biggest win we had. It's you see, in image optimization market, there are about 30 competitors that they all do the same thing, okay? And ImgHaste had to actually stand out to get a feature that will stand out. And by providing a service that will not mess with the URLs of customers, it is actually the biggest win we had so far. We had to find a way to resolve that issue, and also lead our product that way.
Awesome. Awesome. So tea or coffee?
I guess coffee.
Entrepreneurs thrive on coffee. So which is your favorite city?
Okay, city. I think any small town around the globe, with not a lot of people, but if there is a data center there that will be able to host ImgHaste, that's better.
Any city that has less people and only has a data center.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean,
nothing more.
All right, all right. You prefer peace. I get it. So how many hours do you sleep in a day?
At this point, 5 to 6 hours is just enough for me, and I don't put any alarm clocks on Sundays.
I love the no alarm clock on Sunday policy. Great. What does failure mean to you?
All right, so there is no room for failure when talking business. It's you just have to pivot and try again harder, as many times as you have to. There is no failure.
And if I were to ask you, what's something which you failed at?
Oh, a lot of things. I've done a lot of mistakes. I mean, countless.
As an entrepreneur,
I can't even begin to tell you about it. 90 seconds is certainly not enough.
Indeed, indeed. Like, what do you wish you had known when you started out?
All right, so nothing and everything. I mean, it's not about the destination. You know, it's about the journey. If I knew everything back then, I'd probably be lazy about it and would have done nothing. This is all about the learning. This is all about, for example, back in the 60s, during a press conference with the wealthiest man alive back then, a reporter directed a question to the richest man in the world. Okay, he said, "What happens if you suddenly lose all your money, like every penny?" Okay, and he actually stood there and replied with confidence that it's still okay. I mean, he would recover every last dollar just because he possesses the knowledge. It doesn't matter if you lose all your money tomorrow. If you have the knowledge, you can rebuild it. Knowledge is something that nobody can steal from you. Money is not.
Totally, totally. So it's the journey that matters, not the destination. And the knowledge is more important than money.
Exactly.
Awesome, Giorgos. Thank you so much for coming on the show. PitchGrounders. This is Giorgos, and ImgHaste is already live. The reviews have been pouring in, and everyone seems to be having positive feedback about ImgHaste. And if you haven't grabbed ImgHaste yet, what are you waiting for? It's already live on our platform, PitchGround, and you can go ahead, check it out, and ask me or the founders of the community about ImgHaste any doubt that you have, and we are here to solve it out for you. Yes, this is another episode of FounderGround that comes to an end. Hope you got some learnings and value out of this. If you got some learnings and value, be sure to share it with your friends. Thank you so much for joining to yet another episode of FounderGround. And thank you so much, Giorgos, once again for being our guest for today.
Thank you, Minank.
Thank you, Giorgos. See ya.
Ciao.